What's going on, everybody? We're playing some more Madden 24 tonight. I'll be going through franchise mode again, building upon what we did yesterday, and we're going to go through an off-season and start to get into some experimenting, as there are some settings, mainly with regression now they have in this game, that I want to start to take a look at. So, welcome into my second stream here on Madden 24. I am not sure if I'll get into like any full games today. Like, you know, it's Madden. There's nothing like too new for me to explore there on the gameplay front all the time. I want to first get familiar with new features and stuff that I can use inside franchise mode. So I did that yesterday when I moved the Carolina Panthers to Virginia Beach, and now you can relocate and do all that stuff in Season 1, which is pretty neat. So you can do a franchise now where year one is with a brand new team and stuff, but it's still the same like team logos, and it's not like a customizable suite where you can build your own stadium and stuff. So like on one hand it's kind of cool, on the other hand, like a lot of things in this game, it leaves you wanting more. What's going on, everybody? Glad to see the chat filling up here. Hope you're doing well. Day 2 of Madden 24. Is this technically early access anymore? I don't even know. That's a cool shirt. Thank you, Michael. Yeah, this is from Undertale. I played that game a few years ago. Really enjoyed it. I think my wife bought me this one. What are your headphones that you have right now? These are Beats Solos I got like 6 years ago. If I have them wireless, they only work in one side, but I have them wired here into my my XLR, which routes all my CPU audio, my PC audio, and as long as it's wired in, both sides work fine. So it's hanging in there. Yeah, technically the game comes out on Friday. They say that, but right now is early access for EA Play and those who have bought the most expensive version of the game, which is myself. The new draft strength thing. I think we should mess around with that. It's a good call. I would have forgotten about that. It is intriguing you can expand year one. I think that's really cool. I want to get us into the postseason here, and we actually have a playoff game. You know what? Let's start off. I'll just get into this by playing a really quick game. These aren't taking a lot of time. I'm sure there's nothing really new in terms of playoff like experience and presentation, but I'll load this up and we'll just take a look at what's in there. And then we'll get into some more of the features and stuff. So this will be a nice way for everything to fill up. Have you been watching the history of the Minnesota Vikings? I haven't yet, just because the parts are super big and I haven't carved out the big time for them. But I have them like bookmarked. I'll definitely be checking that out. And a member now for a full year. Appreciate that. Thank you. How do I think about the AFC North this year? Well, going into the season, I am really feeling good right now about the Baltimore Ravens. Like, that's one team I'm really in on right now. And I still think Cincinnati's really good, and I think Cleveland's going to be a lot better. Like, it's a tough division. I think that all 4 teams are, you know, none of them are mediocre. They're all, I think, at least in the wild card conversation. So it's going to be a fist fight like the AFC North tends to be. But if you're asking me to pick a winner right now, I'm going to say that it goes to Baltimore this year. That's one of the teams I have a really good feeling about. I love what they've done with the offense this year. New scheme change, new receivers. And I think, like, something that a lot of people are overlooking a bit here is, like, Lamar has missed 10 games over the last 2 years. If we can get 17 games of Lamar this year with a much more intriguing offense around him, I think that that's like a potential Super Bowl team that people don't always give a lot of respect to. Stuffing the run here on first down. We got Seattle in town. Do I see myself jumping from Madden 24 to 23 to focus on the Titans, or will you be completely done? I'll be completely done once I finish my this kind of final chapter I've been working on here. I have 2 videos up. DK gets away. He's down the sideline, and he's going to take it to the 10. What happened there? But yeah, I'm working on the end of that Titans series, just going through and putting together videos that help put a bow on everything. I know what I want to do with the next one, and then I'm sure at some point there might be more of a multi-year sim, because I mean we have probably at least 10, 15 years before some of the key players retire, so it'll all happen here in due time. Like, my franchises on the main channel don't get off the ground really quickly. I like to wait for sliders to be in a good spot at the very least. And I'll be getting Titans wrapped up, and I also have some UTSA stuff coming. UTSA was planned as I wasn't really sure how long it would take for me to get ready for a franchise on 24. And a college season, I feel like I can knock that out fairly quickly. I already have some of it done, and those seasons are shorter than NFL, so that's super nice. Will UTSA be normal episodes? Everything so far is normal, but as I get further into the year, I don't know if there's going to be anything a little bit different as far as maybe multiple games in a video, but everything I've worked on so far is going to be traditional. I did try the defensive assist last night, and it did not work when I was playing defense. I was still seeing that safety just crash down. I'll do it again on our next drive, but it seems that's still something they've taken out. O-line, I have noticed issues with pass protection, just picking guys up, and at times, they just whiff on assignments when there's nothing else. Like, there's one player to worry about, and they just end up blocking a whole bunch of air. Coverage awareness, I haven't noticed anything too different. The biggest thing I've noticed with coverage is a lot more contested passes that are broken up. I think we're seeing a big fatigue issue right now. I don't know if I can check any of that stuff out here in game, but I feel like I'm seeing progressive fatigue continue to be a problem, as most of our players here are very low on stamina. Like, it's the first play of the game, and Miles Sanders is already huffing and puffing. And he feels super slow and sluggish. This has been a problem since they introduced progressive fatigue. You get later in the year and players are just, they can't even stay on the field for 2 plays. Sanders just got subbed out. I really wanted to see progressive fatigue for years. We finally got it, and it's, in my opinion, unusable. I think the Colts are a really good choice. Yeah, I was going through every team earlier because I like to work on that top 5 or top 7 teams to use in franchise mode video. And the Colts definitely caught my eye when I was looking at them. And they will be in the video that eventually, I'd like to get that out tomorrow if possible. Ian Thomas. I was checking out some stats today. Did you know that Ian Thomas is the current Panther? How do I word this? He has the most receptions in a Panthers uniform out of current players who play for the Panthers. Ian Thomas is that player. Because they got so many new guys in this year with Thielen, Shark, Jonathan Mingo, McCaffrey, Moore are both gone. Not much continuity there, it looks like. There's a tackle in the pattern right now as the pass is caught by Tommy Tremble. I don't believe community files are cross-platform. They never have been, which is super disappointing. There's nothing special, you know, version to version that should keep those separate. Going for Mingo, and it's a little too far over his head. Patriots a good rebuild candidate? Yeah, the case for them is the same as the case last year. Like, they're a mid-tier team with a mid-tier roster, and there's just, like, very few, like, top 10 players at their positions there. Like, maybe Matt Judon is in that conversation, but they don't really stink anywhere. But, like, it feels like the entire team has 81 overall with star development. And I think in the AFC, that's just not good enough. Ooh, I missed a kick. I missed a field goal. I do not have a Discord server, no. Steelers? I felt like looking at the Steelers roster, it was pretty good. Like, their offense is in somewhat of a similar spot to, like, New England, where, like, there's good players, maybe not the greatest, but I give their skill talent a bit of a bump because of Harris and the upside with Deontay Johnson and George Pickens. Their defense, though, obviously has guys like TJ Watt and Minkah Fitzpatrick, so I think the Steelers are kind of a slightly better version of what I described with New England. Like, it's not a bad roster, but in that AFC, is it good enough right now? The AFC is a different ballgame. I mean, you can be the 7th best team in the AFC and have a really good roster. That's a tough conference for a team like Houston to be in their big rebuild. Just so many good teams. And now, not many of them are in your division right now, but Jaguars are on the rise. It's really the other 3 divisions that become more of a fight. The South is the basement of the AFC right now. Am I excited for any games coming out? I'm very much looking forward to Starfield. Underthrown and caught at the 20. I'm looking forward to Starfield. That's coming out here in just a couple weeks. Otherwise, for this year, I don't know that there's a whole lot else I'm excited for. What else is coming out this year? I know, like, there's another Call of Duty coming out, and I like to play the campaign, but I like to play that when it's cheaper, ideally. Gino, that's caught. Oh yeah, Spider-Man. Now, I haven't played the other ones, so I wouldn't be jumping into this one. I would like to. I definitely like to, but I'm not really a huge, like, superhero guy or anything. I just watched my first Spider-Man movie, like, a couple months ago. It was the first one that came out early 2000s. Pretty good movie. But I still haven't gotten to the Insomniac games yet. Oh, yeah, that's a good, thank you for that question, Lion. So, tonight, I am on performance mode. There are 2 options you have at the main menu to play in image quality mode or performance mode. And I'd say in the vast majority of games, you're better off playing performance. Because I'm not playing competitive here, I tried image quality because I'd rather just play, 4K 60 if it can do that well. And I don't know if it was because of playing on that mode, but I was noticing a lot of hitching. Like, after plays would finish, there'd be like a really small pause. The menus in franchise were super slow. So now I'm on performance mode to hopefully get a smooth frame rate and less hitching. I haven't tried Baldur's Gate 3, no. I haven't played a game like that before in my life, so I don't know if it would really be my kind of thing. I literally got an Xbox today for Starfield. Yeah, I think that one, if any game is going to sell some systems for them, it's going to be that game. I'm also, you can play it on PC also, but I'm a big fan of Forza Horizon 5. I was playing that the other day. Kane, help me. Do I rebuild the Titans or the Patriots? I certainly think right away the Titans are more fun. And I also think, like, I got to develop that Titans defense last year in Madden 23. I really liked it. I would probably lean Titans over New England if I were suggesting a team. Unless you tell me, like, exactly what it is you're looking for in a team, I'm just going to give you my personal feel. Appreciate the super chat. Love the content, Kane. Currently on my 10-hour trial, Madden 24 seems pretty solid. Will you consider my favorite team, the Commanders, as your team? They've been on my radar ever since they didn't take a quarterback in the draft. So, Commanders are in the running. Do I play on a TV with 4K 60? Yes. The monitor that I play on, I don't think is capable of a higher refresh rate than that. Like, I got this monitor specifically for, like, exactly 4K 60. I don't feel the need for 120 frames, and PS5's only had 120 frame capabilities for, I think, a handful of months. That was released in an update. But, like, I don't really play a lot of competitive games or games that really demand as fast a frame rate as you can get. Like, I play a lot of single player games and cinematic stuff, and for me, like, give me 4K over 120 frames for that type of game. I'm thinking of doing the Raiders. Thoughts? The Raiders are an odd one because you got a couple studs in Jacobs and Devontae Adams, but that defense needs, like, a lot of work. Like, there are a few teams out there that I suggest if you're, like, a big fan of developing your own defense. The Raiders are one of the best teams for that, specifically. I also put the Raiders into a category of team where you're kind of playing against the clock as soon as you begin. Because you don't have Adams forever, you won't have Josh Jacobs forever, and Garoppolo's your quarterback. And so you're kind of starting off your journey there almost with a sense of urgency. Now, I think that's actually a really interesting spot to begin a team where you're, like, kind of mid-tier, and maybe you could win early, but if it doesn't happen within a couple years, now the rebuild begins. And I think the Raiders, Saints, Vikings, there's a lot of teams that fall into that category. Ooh, he swatted that one away. Have I tried the new kickoff rule? Are you talking about where they can let it go inside the... What's the new touchback rule? Refresh my memory on that. I know I'm not a fan of it personally. I'm going to go for it here. Denver? I think that's the exact kind of team I just described when you consider Russell Wilson... Now, outside of Surtain, that defense, honestly, to me, didn't look, like, personnel-wise for Madden, it didn't look really as good as I remembered it. Especially, like, your cornerbacks opposite Surtain are going to have, like, 72 and under overall. You can fair catch anywhere on the field and get it at the 25. Yeah, I'll try that on my next kick return if I have one in this game. Yeah, the whole O-line is tired. Progressive fatigue is, I'm already saying you have to turn that off again in this game. And I thought that would be the case, but I wanted to try it out. This is my testing phase. I edit in Vegas Pro. Vegas Pro has a lot of issues, though, and I usually recommend if someone's learning from scratch video editing to go with something like Premiere. I use Vegas because it's what I've used for a long time, and I can navigate around its shortfalls. And, like, my entire workflow is just so optimized and quick now that I can't teach myself new tricks.
Here we go. Here we go.
Hey! Right off the hands of Mingo. Yeah, the Rams are a really good rebuild team. If you don't mind a team that recently won a Super Bowl, that roster's in shambles, man. If you took Cooper Kupp off that roster, it looks like, you know, Cooper Kupp and Aaron Donald keep that from looking like an expansion team. It ain't far away. Metcalf, what a catch. Oh, I was asked that just a little bit ago. I haven't watched the new Vikings series from Secret Base. I really want to, but I just haven't had the time to get into that first part yet. I don't want to start it at night and then fall asleep and remember where I was, so I need to find some time during the day when I can focus on it. Is the starting 2025 quarterback already on the Titans roster? If I had to guess, I would say yes. Because Levis probably gets, you know, a shot sometime this year, if not next. I'll say yes. I'm guessing you aren't a night owl. Not like I used to be. I really like going to bed earlier now and waking up early. We can't make a play, man. But now I can fair catch a kick. Unless they kick it into the end zone, which would be super annoying for our test. But I like waking up early, man. I'm a morning person. Or I've kind of like trained myself to be a morning person. There's nothing better than waking up super early and having the whole day ahead of you, just mentally. Let's go. My favorite pancakes are waffles. Waffles, man, you gotta have that crisp, that crunch. When I make pancakes, I like to water down my batter and make it like really thin. Because I'm looking for, like, some crispiness there. Like, a fluffy pancake that doesn't really do it for me. Sliders? I don't have any sliders, like, right now. I'm not messing with any sliders. I'm on all Madden default. Do I plan to play on an older update like I did in 23? Generally speaking, in Madden, I want to find an update that I like and stay with it. I did that for like 6 months on 23. And the only reason I lost that November update is because PlayStation did a software update. And no longer was it was like, it kept prompting the download for Madden even when I wasn't in the game. and I was on a different game entirely when it queued the update. I didn't see, and so it downloaded and installed. Usually, before this system update, it would only try to install if I was opening Madden. And in this case, I wasn't even opening the game. Like, I have my settings on PlayStation set up to where it doesn't do automatic updates. And now, I'll have to see if I can stay on an update if I want to this time around, but I'd like to. Kane, do you like French toast? I absolutely love French toast. I had some unbelievable French toast like a month ago or something. From Cracker Barrel. That's a great place to go to breakfast. We get a good play finally, and we cheated. Not much of a chance there, but I kind of want to let them score here because I know I screwed up the fair catching of the last kick, so I want them to get points here. What is a Scottish breakfast? The only Scottish food I know of is deep fried pizza. What's a classic Scottish breakfast? On target, Metcalf, touchdown. DK Metcalf. I did the Gophers on NCAA 14. I did UTSA on NCAA 13. And then again on College Football Revamped. Kane, every year I can't stick with a team. I always change. How can I stay with one and keep it long term? To me, the key to keeping a long-term franchise is a challenge and investment in whoever you're adding to your roster. You know, if the game is getting too easy for you, well, I don't have a way to beat that because, like, I get tired of franchise if the team is too good. That seemed to work. I fair caught it at the 1-yard line. Kane, what kind of chips do you like? So, I recently discovered that after years of not caring about their existence, never buying them, that all of a sudden, at some point, I became a Pringle guy. So, now, I like Pringles, and I like the tortilla chips from H-E-B, the ones that they make themselves. So those are in rotation for me right now. Intercepted by Bobby Wagner. Thoughts on Taco Bell? You get in the mood sometimes, and it's necessary. Typically for me, it's like a Sunday night during NFL season. It'll happen. I remember right now, I was in the Taco Bell drive-thru during a Cowboys-Giants primetime game. That might have been a Thursday nighter. Or, no, that was a Sunday nighter. There was a blowout. No. It was Eagles-Cowboys. Eagles-Cowboys. Because I think the Eagles were annihilating them. And I was listening to it in the Taco Bell drive-thru. That was last year. Oh, yeah, I wanted to make a correction from last night's stream. So, like, I'm kind of nitpicking when I'm looking at things, and I'm talking about what I like, what I don't like, and just what my observations are. So, when I was playing as the Vikings, I said that they screwed up Vikings punter Ryan Wright, and that he's supposed to be a left-footed punter. That's just completely wrong. For some reason, I misremembered him being a left-footed punter, despite watching him punt now for a couple years. And he even threw a pass last year, And he's a right-handed thrower. So no, EA did not screw up Ryan Wright. I screwed up not knowing my favorite team's punter handedness or footedness. So I don't do the placement and accuracy passing because I stick to offline franchise, and the only thing I care about is like ratings. So to me, that mechanic is akin to using like the PCI when you're playing the show. I don't want to use the PCI. I want to have to go add players who actually have good plate vision. I don't want to be able to get good at a mechanic in a game that supersedes the abilities of my players, if that makes sense. That's why I don't use her on defense, because I could go find a 55 overall with 90 speed at linebacker and just make him a good player instead of actually having to find one. Like, I only play franchise for like the experience. I don't play to win. I don't play because I'm competitive. Is driving 30 minutes in Dallas traffic worth it to check out Culver's? I hear the Butterburgers are amazing. I would. Yeah, I've made many a longer trip than that for Culver's. And I would say definitely. I think that their burgers are, for one, they're excellent. And two, it's a more unique experience just compared to your traditional fast food burger. Also, they got some really good onion rings. Cheese curds as well. They don't have the best cheese curds out there, but they have good cheese curds. Sometimes I run across people who are like really turned off by the idea of them. I don't know. I grew up with them, so they seem like a very normal American, indulgent, fatty fried food that we should all be able to bond over. Shirt check. This is from Undertale. I don't know if it's like an official licensed shirt. I got it as a gift. Have I tried In-N-Out? Yes, I'm actually quite a fan, actually. I think they have a very good burger. As far as like just going to get like a solid $4 burger, I think In-N-Out is very good. Is defensive assist fixed this year? Jazz, unfortunately, I have not found it to be fixed in this game. I think it's by design. They want it the way it is. I hear you, Kane, but when all 5 of your DB's tackles get broken or take a horrific angle en route to a 77-yard touchdown, you just get really frustrated. Of course. All the time. You know, I always strive to find balance in the franchises I do. Like, ultimately, I want ratings to matter as much as I can make them matter for both the CPU and the user. And that means, like, I want the game to be challenging, but I don't want, like, this computer to be souped up every game, because then it almost renders your team building useless. If every game you're playing against a jacked up CPU team, who cares who you got? You're at a disadvantage no matter what. I always get questions about fast food, and that's just one of those things where I have a lot of takes. And apparently they're desired by some. You know, a couple things here come to mind that I wish this game had. We haven't had this feature, I think, since Madden 12, but we're in the playoffs. I would like to be able to watch the Super Bowl if I'm not part of it. Especially in, like, my franchise. I think that would help out the experience. It'd be fun to see who actually made it. I'd like to be able to watch the CPU games. I don't know why. There's no way we can do that. You know, if I go to the playoff picture, we can see these matchups. I can't actually do anything here on the conference championships. Pistachios or cashews? Cashews. I'm not a pistachio guy. But y'all know I'm a cashew guy. Do I play a game per day in Madden franchise or multiple per day? Usually it's one at a time. There are some instances where I'll record a few in a row, but that's not the norm for me. Potato salad or egg salad? I'm not really a fan of either one. I guess if I had to force myself to eat it, I'd go potato. Shane McClanahan is having Tommy John. Oof. I did not see that. Here's what I was trying to get to. Yeah, we're in the playoffs. I want to watch a conference championship. Can't do it. Still. Is turning off momentum glitched or what? Oh, I haven't actually tried to play without momentum. I didn't know. Big Mac or Whopper? Whopper. The Big Mac is... I struggle to understand how the Big Mac is like the face of McDonald's when the double quarter pounder deluxe is like a much better sandwich. And it's more practical. It has a better meat to bun ratio. And those quarter pound patties are significantly better than the paper thin ones that they put on like the double cheeseburger. Like, why does that patty also go on a Big Mac? That should be the quarter pound patty. Especially if you're using 1.5 buns, 3 pieces of bread. The meat to bun ratio is an important factor in determining the value of any burger. For me, the momentum meter doesn't go away with the effects do. Yeah, I don't know if visually they just keep that on there and it always stays in the center. Next time I play, I'll have to turn off momentum. What kind of impact do you think Dalvin Cook will have with the Jets? I guess I'm wondering how they plan to deploy him and Breece Hall. You know, in today's NFL, everybody's got a committee, so you can always find a way. Like, there are only 2 running backs last year who had 75% or more of their team's running back carries, and that was Josh Jacobs and Derrick Henry, and they were like both right at 75%. The vast majority of teams are at least handing off 35 to 40% to a second running back. So I think the workload there, it probably won't even be that difficult to figure out. You know, I don't know which one's going to be the better pass game back. I think Dalvin is average to above average in the pass game. I don't really know about Breece Hall. He had only a handful of games played last year. But I think Dalvin's going to do just fine. I mean, Rodgers is at quarterback, and a lot of attention's going to be on the passing game, and I see him doing pretty well. Yeah, I want to verify. So I looked at those numbers today. So, the 75% on those running backs. I'm not sure if I meant to say snaps or running back touches. I think I meant snaps. So if we look at just snap percentage at running back last year, Saquon Barkley was number 1 at 75.4. So basically 25% to another running back is the minimum. There are only 4 running backs that exceeded 70% last year. That'd be Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, CMC, and Dalvin Cook. Henry only had 62% snaps, despite playing 16 to 17 games. I wish... Ooh, the rush share is here. Okay, here's what I was remembering. Rushing share. Josh Jacobs had 79.4% of the Raiders' rushing carries. Derrick Henry had 71%. And those are like the most extreme bell cow examples in today's NFL. Have I tried to break the trade logic? I have not yet in this game. Where is progressive fatigue in the settings, and do you recommend turning it off? I absolutely recommend turning it off, and we just kind of found out why. That should be a league setting thing. I think it's more towards the bottom. So here we got, or maybe it's not there. It's somewhere in here. Yeah, where is it? I just missed it. I tend to do that. I do tend to do that. Sometimes twice. Progressive fatigue is what it's called there. So you can turn that off, and then you don't got to worry. Like, what I wanted progressive fatigue for was like more so a long-term injury system. You know, guys get banged up, and I don't want guys to be at like a stamina level where they can only play one snap. All I was looking for was like, hey, you've been wearing down this running back, and now he's at like 85%. And maybe his speed is down 1, his acceleration is down 2, and his injury risk is now 20% greater than at baseline. That's what I wanted out of progressive fatigue. A wear and tear. Closer to what I believe 2K has. But instead, all progressive fatigue is doing is handling stamina. That's not what I wanted it for. Will I be making regression and XP sliders? Absolutely. Like, the regression stuff is literally my favorite addition in the game. The fact that you can now control regression on the level that you can, to me, makes multi-year franchises a lot more interesting. I wish there were some more gameplay sliders, but it's the same sets that we've had now. All the same sliders for a while. I don't have my team picked out yet for franchise this year. I'm still deciding. So I think it's the XP sliders is where they keep the regression stuff. That and the draft class sliders too. I'm a big fan of those additions. So now, it's not just regression, but it's progression as well. So you can make it so these young players get even more of a boost. And I think that can help out a lot of spots. If you think about, you know, the benefits of just playing like a young 21-year-old tackle and getting him that early experience, or a running back, because in franchise, typically running backs in the draft are nearly irrelevant. You go into the future seeing the running backs that are on top of the NFL in year 1 are the same that are on top in year 6. Progression and regression sliders can finally get us away from that. So this is all by age. It's not separated by positions. Otherwise, you'd have like another couple hundred sliders. But the regression rate per position, I'm a big fan of. You know, I want quarterbacks to regress pretty slowly. I want running backs to regress pretty quickly. I want offensive linemen to regress a little bit slower. You know, you think about the positions that rely more so on just their athleticism, and that's what you're going to want to tone down. Some more than others, but running back, receiver, corner. I mean, you don't see a lot of 32-year-old corners out there. I'm still wondering how Terrence Newman did it as long as he did. I feel like you have a lot of defensive linemen, too, that can play for a long time. Different edge rushers. You know, Justin Houston's been playing for a long time. You got elite players like Von Miller, who's also well into his 30s, playing at an extremely high level. You got defensive linemen like Calais Campbell, who stay starting caliber for a very long time. Stream setup tour. It ain't much of a setup to show. If you turn the slider up, do they regress faster? You reduce the rate to slow regression. So if you want guys to regress slower, you just drop this. If you want them to really regress quickly, then you do one of those. So yeah, there's going to be a lot for me to get into to mess around with this, and I may even get to some of it tonight. I think the way to do it is go into offline franchise where you can reload and try out different things and track your progress. It's going to take some trial and error to see, okay, this is too much regression, this is not quite enough. We'll see. Hey Jacob, I appreciate the super chat. Thank you. I immediately turned up the slider to make players harder to sign depending on their wants. Yeah, that's another one. Forgot about that momentarily. So, they introduced last year the motivations. The factors that make players want to re-sign with you or not. Some want big market, some want a franchise quarterback, some want to play for a championship contender. And you now have control over just how important those wants are. And for me, I'm going to want to crank that up. I'm probably going to want to crank up the trade difficulty, which we can experiment with in the off season. Free agent motivation impact. I'm guessing that also factors in like the players you're re-signing. But I want to try going through this off season with both of those set to very hard. You ever gonna do another practice squad rebuild? I think I'd like to give it another go sometime. Especially if I can find good, like, sliders for regression and stuff like that I like. Exactly, Prayer, exactly. Any update on UTSA? So I was looking to get the next video out actually here in a couple days. College football really gets going in next week. And so I was wanting to get my first video out Thursday and then the first game Saturday because it's college football. You got to put that out on Saturday. So we could be just 2 days away from UTSA. That video's done. Like, the next video is already finished. It's been finished. How did regression affect Nava and Trayvon Randolph? I haven't gotten to the point yet to see regression on them. I have to get further. Would I possibly consider the Patriots this year? I don't feel like I'll end up on them. I think they're an all right choice. But there are a few more teams that I'm focused on at the moment. Favorite NFC South team to rebuild? Probably Carolina. You know, they brought in a bunch of veteran receivers, and you're going to eventually replace them. They have a few fun players on like defense with Jeremy Chin and Brian Burns, J.C. Horn. Atlanta's really good if you just want to build an OP offense, because I think you can do that quite easily. Panthers, to me, are more challenging. A Cowboys-Chiefs Super Bowl. We're all shocked. I hope Madden doesn't have this weird regression for low to mid 20s players. Well, we're going to check that here very shortly. Here is the are they retirements after year 1 in this franchise. Harrison Smith. Ooh, 8 years. Kyler Fackrell. How old is Kyler Fackrell? I think he was an older rookie when he was drafted, maybe. He's 31 right now. Aaron Rodgers retires. I always like to see like the youngest players will choose to retire. Is Jason Peters on a roster right now? I didn't see him when I went through every team earlier. Not that I could remember. How about Zeke going to the Patriots? I think that move was kind of telegraphed. Like, that style of running back now is a Patriots running back. Like, someone who's just going to grind out 3 yards between the tackles and eat up a lot of carries. Not that he's going to out-carry Ramondre Stevenson or anything, but, like, I've always thought of that, you know, just not super dynamic, plodding running back. That's a Patriots running back. McDonald's fries or Wendy's fries? I got to give the edge there to the Golden Arches. I still think their fries are probably my favorite. Some of my favorite for sure. Which franchise team is better, Colts or Panthers? I would give the edge to the Colts because I think that Anthony Richardson is more fun than Bryce Young. Plus, it's the AFC, so it's already a more challenging conference to build a winner. Cheesesteak subs. So I've become a really big fan of the Jersey Mike's Philly since like football season last year. Maybe it's not authentic, but I ain't complaining. You ever dip Wendy's fries into a Frosty? Now, that combination together is better than McDonald's. In isolation, the McDonald's fries are better. So we're checking out the draft class here, and I think I actually want to open up the ratings just so I can take a look at different ratings that we're seeing and just different trends we might notice. So the best player is an 81 overall running back, Damian Powell out of Florida. Then an 80 overall receiver from Ohio State, a Clemson corner, a 77 tackle. Then we get into the mid-70s more so. A lot of guys in the third round who are pretty good. A fullback here at 73 because he's or an undrafted fullback, so he'll have pretty good overall. We'll go to the draft recap because it'll show us ratings a lot better. I want to see if we can find some different types of archetypes at receiver and stuff like that. Hey, what's going on, Chris? 55 months? Appreciate that. 55 months. That's a ton of months. I haven't picked a team yet. I'm just exploring. I'm messing around with not an expansion team, but a relocated team. Do I have draft tips in Madden? You know, there are different ratings I look for at each position and different, like, athletic profiles I look for. And you can kind of piece information together and start to figure out, you know, what players are probably going to be good and bad at. I guess I don't have anything like really quick and easy as far as like a big draft tip. Make sure to take the running back with your last pick and your first pick too. You never know. Let's go to re-signing here. I wanted to experiment with this because I made the re-signing a lot more difficult. I have it on the hardest setting right now. So re-signing Brian Burns should be very challenging. He's looking for a massive deal. I want to make sure it's $125 million. So already he doesn't have interest in us. I want to see if I can up this and still get him to sign. So this here would be $170 million. This is a full $45 million more than what he was asking. And he still turns us down. I'm actually really happy to see that. I want it to be challenging to get these guys at all. If he has no interest, I should have to sell him the team. Okay, so now in this stage, I'm not negotiating with J.C. Horn. It's the 5th-year option popping up right here and now. So I can accept his option right there. And that it's better having it here, honestly. Those options tend to get picked up before free agency in the first place. So good to have it here instead. Now, what about Deion Jones? Because he has, you know, below 50 interest, but still some. What if he's looking for 17.5. I'm going to offer him 24. Okay, that worked. And I kind of expected that one too. Oh yeah, we'll test it in open free agency as well, but I want to keep trying out more of these zeros if I can. Like, if I just want to break the bank here on DJ Chark, like, can I get him? We're talking 6 years, $60 million on this deal. All right. That one worked. So it's possible. Now, I had to give him a completely ridiculous offer to do it. Let's try to be a little less ridiculous here on CJ Henderson and say, you know, we'll give you, he wants 2 years, 6.6. We'll offer 2 years, 7 years. We'll offer 2 years. Well, actually, this is, we're like 14 now. Let's go 2 years, 12. All right, he did take that one. Kind of want to get to full free agency to test it out there. Oh, yeah, we're trying to break the game, Matt. How's it going? Welcome in, Matt 10, everybody. The architect behind the sliders I've used going back to the Broncos franchise. He is a true slider visionary. See the combine results. I still would like for them to give you this information in a sortable table fashion. Head coach had that, and it was cool. Here, I have to go individually on each player. And the thing I'm not liking here, like, I'm on performance mode now. But, like, if I'm going to check out a lot of combines, I'm going to be going in and out of these menus constantly. And just, the time is adding up. Because when I'm hitting R1, L1, there's like a slight pause. Great, he ran a 4.49. Down below, I can toggle to the next player. So I hit right trigger. But it brings you back to the scouting report. So it's another click with a hitch. 4.71 on Lewis Price. Like, we need to be able to access information faster than this. There are so many players in the draft. There's 7 rounds. There's like 400 players in this class. Now, not all of them are relevant, but if I want to get a lot of information sorted through quickly, it's very difficult. I'm glad the next player button is there, but I wish that it would stay on the physicals tab at least. And I nitpick about that because we're talking about as many players as we are in the NFL draft. This is not the NBA where I make 2 picks. We're all wheeling and dealing going into the draft with like 10 selections. And you're trying to go through, 11 receivers to figure out who you like. And then you got 7 corners. Yeah, once I have some settings, I'll probably put out a video or something, especially if I come across some stuff that I'm fine-tuning. Like, I want to get into the weeds with the regression sliders and really find something that I like and do some testing with it. Because I know what I'm looking for, because I think about it every time I go through an off-season and I don't get exactly what I want. Joe Burris. This is Joe Burrow's alter ego. Any new traits or X factors? I thought there was some, but beats me. The menus are still sluggish, yes, even on the performance mode. Playing on PlayStation 5, where I'm constantly impressed with how fast games load and how great everything looks and how smooth interfaces tend to be. It has not been that case with Madden. The smoothest interface is Madden 20 on the PS5. Wow, it is fast. But like every time I hit R1, L1 here, you'll notice Shaq pause and a slight hitch. Just those seconds add up. You got 53-man rosters, 400-man draft classes. There's a lot of information we're trying to get to. We can get it all eventually. It just takes a little longer. So we're in the off season now, and I have set my trade setting to be the most difficult. So we can try to do some trades and see if we think they're reasonable or not. Now, I will say that there's more to it than just making trades difficult, but this is what I wanted to try. You know, for instance, the CPU will have these guys at like 73 overall with 1 year on their contract, and they won't take anything less than like a third-round pick for them. That's where I think sometimes they're asking for too much. Now, I'm wondering if any of this is factored into the trade finder. Here's Trade Finder. You can now include up to 6 players and picks in your trades. And those picks now go an additional year into the future. So we've got the 2024, 5, and 6 picks now, which is a very nice addition. Can I put draft picks in here and just hit get offers? I can. You know, like right away, this one. These are the kinds of things that the CPU puts together, and it's like, why? A low-rated player, a low pick, and another low pick. You don't have any player or pick there that has significant value. And we're talking a second-round pick. Now, in this case, I would be on the bad end of that trade, so like at least I'm not screwing over the CPU that way. Cam Taylor-Britt in a 7? You know, a superstar corner. I still think I'd rather have Cam Taylor-Britt in that instance. Let's try acquiring a player. I'm curious here if I hit the trade finder on Anthony Richardson. There are no trades. Now that makes you want to try it out on other quarterbacks. There are no trades. Okay, so let's keep that in mind right now. They're refusing to trade their quarterbacks. I'm going to go change that setting now to easiest, because that'll tell us right there if the slider affects the trade finder. There are no compensatory picks. No, I wish. We're going to go to very easy. And this is just to confirm one thing, because we don't want to make too many assumptions. We want to know for sure how things are working and if it's taking different things into account. And in this case, I just want to know if the trade finder cares about your setting. And so I'm hoping here when I put Tua in the trade finder that it spits out offers. It doesn't. Okay. So I can't confirm then. But they won't trade him, even on the easiest setting. Now, that's with the finder. If I'm actually putting something in here, you know, I'm sure then you can maybe start to get somewhere. A 5th round pick is obviously not going to do it. I'm just looking to see the bar move at all. There might be some player tags. I don't know if there's like an untradeable one, though. Franchise quarterback will not be replaced by their team until later in their career. So that's probably what we're seeing there. is anybody with the franchise tag, you're not going to be trading for them unless they're probably 30 years or older. And I'm a fan of these player tags in general to protect against those specific situations and to add some needed logic there. Why is your chat subscribers only? So my chat is in sub-only mode all the time because it keeps the bots from spamming chat. So if I don't have that on there, there's always bots popping in that I have to ban. And I'd rather not. If you haven't already done so, please drop a like here on the stream as we continue our experimenting in Madden 24. I want to go back to the difficult trade sliders, and I want to try trading a player on our team that typically the CPU could overvalue and you might get too much in return for. Consider like a high 70s, low 80s player, and then like CPU teams will just give up second round picks like nothing. Let's try a trade like that. And we're going to do it on the very hard setting. If you manually try to trade for AR or Tua, what happens? They have the trait, the franchise quarterback trait. And the description now in this game says that they will not be replaced until later in their careers. So now I think we should probably go into there and overwhelm the Dolphins for Tua. Just to experiment. Like, there has to be a deal they'd be willing to take, right? Like, if I gave them Bryce Young on a first-round pick, would they really say no to that? Don't have a first-round pick because it already turned into Bryce Young. So I think at a point you can get a deal done, but they're not going to be initiating it. So in this case, Bryce Young in a first does get Tua Tagovailoa. So we have just made that trade. And I'd rather have Bryce Young in a first round pick. Now let's do the trade that I was talking about earlier with like a decent player that CPU teams will overpay for. See what they'll offer you for that second rounder with very easy. That would be a good way to test it out, actually. Let me do that after I do this experiment. How do you restructure contracts? I haven't actually done that yet. I will try... I'll set that up soon. So I want to find a team here. Well, actually, no trade offers. No one will trade for Adam Thielen. Interesting. I can't edit him from this menu. I wanted to edit his age, but instead I'll just try a younger receiver. No offers for DJ Chark. And not being able to trade these guys for, you know, in this case, we can't trade them for anything with that. But I guess now I want to do one manually and see if I can get something for Chark. I saw one yellow team. Two yellow teams. Okay. The Jets. Like, what would DJ Chark realistically be worth? I would say a day 3 pick. I don't think I should be able to trade him for a 3. They do it. It's only the salary cap that would do it. That's making the trade not go through. Can anyone actually handle the space then? Yeah, Saints don't have cap space. They haven't done their cap shenanigans quite yet. I believe I'm still on very hard. Not many teams can take on his cap hit right now. Falcons can. Like, there's no world I should really get a second round pick for him. Only halfway. That shouldn't put you over the cap. All right, we're going to take out Shark, and we're going to use somebody that's on a lesser contract. Xavier Woods has a 7... That's impossible. What did he sign? 2 years, 15 then? Or something? What is Xavier Woods' contract? Three years, 15. All right, we're going to throw in Chuba Hubbard then. Running back. So no one seems to be like super interested. But what would the Dolphins say give me for Chuba Hubbard? Okay. Yeah, he should have like maybe a conditional 7th. Like, he wouldn't have, obviously if the second didn't work, that's not going to work. I want to go back to the trade setting now. And maybe running backs have less value. Like, obviously, certain positions should have more or less. But now we're on easy. I noticed the trade finder wasn't spitting us out anything for like any player on the hard settings. But I think part of that is that no one has the cap space for like a Thielen or Chark right now. Which is odd. Some teams should have cap space right now. But it's possible that teams just can't handle adding that salary at the moment. So none there. If I run it on Chuba Hubbard, a 77 overall running back, no trades. Now let's try Brady Christensen. What do they list him at these days? Like a 75 guard. Let's try a different position. Now we got some offers. Boye Mafe in a 3. Like, that's, I think, giving up way too much. Brady Christensen. All right, so keep these offers in mind. I'm going to run it back to very hard and run it on Christensen again. Glad he could stop by for a little while, Michael. Have a good night. Yeah, I don't know the whole deal with like tattoos on players in games. Like, I'm not sure if that's supposed to be like a likeness issue, and only a couple players have ever had their tattoos in game. But it's not like they're letting you put tattoos on your superstar when I'm pretty sure you can in 2K, right? I haven't tried the superstar mode yet, no. Okay, so as I changed the slider on the trade difficulty, and now we are getting different offers for Brady Christensen. And these are not offers that I would want to take. This is the CPU kind of trying to rip me off, which is what I want them to do. Ideally, we can have some fair trades, but I don't want the CPU to screw themselves in trying to trade with me. Now, I'm trying to remember what a couple of those offers were exactly. The Rams offered us like a 6th round pick and a linebacker or some defensive player. It was Byron Young. What was the pick? Was it a 6? Fourth? Okay. And now it's not even close to going through. So I see myself likely playing on either hard or very hard. Now, keep in mind, we were just comparing very easy to very hard, just to see, like, okay, want to look for very extreme examples. Now, let's do this in the typical way you would in Madden, where you're trying to find a player that you'd want to acquire and see what it takes for us to get a deal done. So I'm going to pick a random team here. It's going to be the Rams all over again. They don't have anybody I want to acquire. New team. We're going to go Buccaneers. I want Antoine Winfield. What if I offer them a 2nd round pick? Yeah. Now we got cap issues that are keeping this from working nicely. How come no one has cap space? It's the off season. I'm going to try Rondale Moore because he's still on a rookie deal. I'd have to give up more than a 2nd round pick for Rondale Moore. I like that being challenging. Like, what do I honestly think his value would be? If I had to guess, I think you could probably get him if the Cardinals wanted to move him. I'd say 3rd or 4th. Could probably get it done in real life. I've toyed around with it, and for CPU trades, I found hard was the most realistic. I saw Devontae get traded to the Jets. Really? Seeing a high-profile player get traded? Because Devontae wouldn't typically be on the block in Madden. They put backups on the block. This was me messing around, so ignore that one. Robert Woods to the Bengals is actually an interesting trade. If like Tyler Boyd got hurt. Now I'm curious if someone got hurt for the Bengals because like there's no need to acquire a fourth receiver via trade. A third you can justify. Let me check out their stats from this year. So do we figure out the trade difficulty sliders affecting CPU? We proved that it worked on like an isolated example. And we also proved that it will factor into the trade finder. Which was the main thing I was just curious about. T. Higgins, Chase, Boyd. No, these guys played all their games. So they traded for a receiver they didn't really need and didn't throw the ball to a single time. So yeah, it still seems like the CPU's trading just to trade. Just to, like, give you the feeling that the league around you is doing stuff. So Brian Burns had become available. I usually play with CPU trading off. I often do in year one, just so at least they don't screw up the rosters like at the beginning of a franchise. After a while, I care less, but it stinks when you get into a franchise and the CPU's doing goofy moves like right out the gate. Are you able to use custom playbooks in the staff? I don't think you can. I'll check. So we got a question here about, I guess, team schemes. I haven't made a custom playbook, so I couldn't actually see if that is an option. I didn't make one. But considering I'm not seeing like run and gun balanced, I think it has to be a team's playbook chosen here. That would be great if it was. It'd be a simulation. It'd be a big thing for simulation. I've seen guys on 2K get a notification on every CPU trade and they accept it or decline it depending on if it makes sense. Is that an option in Madden? No. What you are able to do is go into the transaction tab and like reverse certain signings in free agency. But to veto trades, no. I wish. Because I would have said no on probably all of them. Now, there are some that might be acceptable, and I let those go through. But in most cases, the CPU trades are just kind of, why? What's the motivation here? We can't find a motive. Oh, yeah, restructure. I haven't yet done that. I believe that's at the salaries tab, and I misclicked, so I have to let stuff load so I can back out. Yeah, 2K's got some incredible stuff in franchise over there. I love the depth and different features that are present there. These menus are slow, man. All right, so let's say Miles Sanders, we want to restructure that contract. Yeah, I moved the Panthers, so I was testing relocation. Thoughts on Ivan Pace? Kane, he's a really fun player. I like him a lot. Small linebacker, but plays with a chip on his shoulder. Really aggressive. All right, here we go. Down below, triangle will pop up. I don't know why I can't restructure Miles Sanders. I'm not sure. But I can restructure this DJ Chark deal that I did. And it tells you, okay, you're going to free up 2.6 this year, but all that cap you're freeing up is actually going to be dispersed over the next 5 years. So it lays it out to you in a nice way. Now, you're not getting full control over how you want to restructure. You're getting a very basic restructure. Basically, you're converting a portion of their cap hit this year and putting it into future years. It's a simple way to implement it. It's a way to get restructures in the game. So it's better than nothing. I'm glad to have it. If a contract is longer than 3 years, you cannot restructure within the year they are in and the next year they play. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm smart enough to decipher that yet. So there's something with the length. So these 4-year contracts with 3 years remaining, I know it's not letting me. I'm just trying to understand the restriction a little bit better. I tried restructuring Russell Wilson. It said in 25 I would be negative 14 in cap space. Yeah, because you're applying extra cap to the future. So, you know, you're basically getting short-term relief and you'll pay the price down the road. Try Moten. This one works. I can free up 8.17 million, and that all goes to his final year. Yeah, some guys don't want to restructure too. That'd be cool if a player would be like, no, I don't want to restructure. Will it stop you from crippling yourself down the line, or could you restructure everyone? I'm guessing you can screw yourself over, because all you're doing is affecting the cap space figures, and you can be over the cap, and you have to fix that. Like, I've run into that problem before in a series because that was because I was an owner, and I didn't have enough money to cover my expenses. So yeah, I don't see why you couldn't totally screw over a future year if you were just restructuring everything. Now, are you talking about maybe breaking the game to the point where, like, you're over the cap and you cannot get under because of what you've done? That's something I have to check out. Because maybe, I don't know if there would be a safeguard or if you could essentially soft lock your game because you wouldn't be able to get under the cap. But you wouldn't actually soft lock because you can clear cap penalties. But it wouldn't be a penalty. That's the thing. So I'm not sure what you'd even do to get out of that. Will the game even let you enter a season over the cap? I don't think they let you sign contracts if it would put you over the cap. It usually says you don't have enough cap space for a move. So it's trying to keep you from doing that. So that brings up a really interesting idea. Are there career-ending or long-term attribute impacting injuries? This should be in the game. Not to my knowledge. That would have been something new they didn't talk about. And if they don't talk about it, I assume that would be a no. How much cap space do I even have right now? 4. 4 million. So I can't really participate in this very much. I'd like to go to the free agency recap just to see the CPU deals what they're handing out. I gave DJ Chark a massive deal just because I had to see if I could get him to accept it. Yeah, I have seen some stuff about QBs getting hurt in this game, and I did a simulation yesterday in this season, and like there were a handful of quarterbacks who didn't play all their games. So good to see that quarterbacks are you might have to actually worry about your backup quarterback in this game again. Where did I move the team to? Virginia Beach. I had Matt Stafford get hurt in week 1 of my long-term franchise. Wow. Stetson Bennett from the national championship to starting for the Rams just like that. I opened the wrong menu again. You pay for your misclicks in here. Are there injuries in training camp? I think only in the in games. Any week that has a game or practice. I keep hitting the wrong thing. So you can still go into the transaction log here and you can say, no, that was an unnecessary signing. I'm going to save you from yourself and undo the Leonard Williams signing, for instance. Not that that would be one to undo. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just an example. I want to go look at some of the big offers that were handed out. Are you able to do an expansion team, or is it still just relocating? It's still just relocation. But now you can do it in year 1 because you relocate immediately. I haven't really done much with sliders yet. It's all the same sliders that we're used to seeing, but I don't know anything all that new about them this year. Any nuanced stuff? So Brian Burns got that big deal here from Detroit. Looks like 6 years, 126. About 21 a year. Do I think the Twins will win the Central? I feel like they will. Cleveland hasn't really gotten hot. They don't have like Shane Bieber. I think the Twins probably finish like a game or two above 500. You know, they have a really good series and then they have a really bad series, and they don't get too hot. But at the same time, the Guardians are just not doing a whole lot either. Now that gap is 4 games, and they could easily, you know, if their head-to-heads against the Twins go their way, then maybe. But I think the Twins will hold on this year. I still don't think they're built for a lot of playoff success. Their pitching is finally, I think, up to par to compete. Not as an elite team there, but I just don't trust the offense. Can you turn off the M factor stuff? I can't find the settings. There is a way to turn off momentum. That might be a main menu thing. Is that a main menu setting and not a franchise specific setting? Kane, the momentum is glitched. It doesn't actually turn off. Okay, it is in league settings. It's in there somewhere, but it apparently doesn't work. That or it's a visual bug where it's not working, but the interface still shows up. I haven't tried it myself yet. All right, we're going to do the private workout test. Because sometimes you pick your private workouts and it doesn't actually work out the proper players. We're going to try Frank Simmons. Like, what's the trick usually to screwing it up? DeAndre Dixon and a kicker. Frank Simmons, DeAndre Dixon, Braxton Nielsen, the kicker, are who I wanted the info on. Private workouts increased their scouting report by 40%. I think I have to sim to see any of it. There is a reorder depth chart thing you can turn off now in the settings. That one is it's next to where it's like weekly training and scouting. Do you want the auto or manual? There's a depth chart reorder. I guess I haven't tested out to see if that works. Reorder depth chart is set to manual. It says that it will never reorder. We'll put that to the test. I just did some restructuring testing. So we'll see if it reorders my stuff. I want Jonathan Mingo to be our #1 receiver. That's our test. But now we have a draft to do. There's no signings I can do here, right? Nope. Let's go check out the draft quick. It would be cool to be a coordinator and work towards a head coaching job. I agree. I'm expecting the draft to be the exact same. You can turn the timer on or off. The timer still shows up, but it's obviously not moving. Wow, this is slow. All right, so Simmons did go up to 90. DeAndre Dixon went up to 90. And the kicker went up to 90, so that worked. That worked. Did Matt Wallner have a grand slam tonight? I don't have the game on because... Oh, he did. I love that man. Running like PS3 NCAA 14. You got that right. How do I restructure contracts? You got to go into your salaries tab. And it's not available for every player, but it's in your salaries tab. And if a player is able to be restructured, it'll show that you can hit triangle to restructure, or Y if you're on Xbox. No idea if you're on PC. Madden 11 is one of the best owner modes you could have ever gotten. Now, I don't remember that owner mode very much. Madden 11, from a gameplay standpoint, it's not a game I like very much. But it had some good features in the presentation department. Like in the pregame, you could see players in their suits walking off the bus. You'd see fans tailgating. Oh, man. Almost makes me want to pop in Madden 11. Almost. Maybe one night we'll do a stream where we revisit some old games and just screw around like that. I'm always up for checking out an old game. Presentation goes a long way, and Madden doesn't even really try with their presentation. The owner mode, you could change your field to help with injuries. You can upgrade your medical facility. That's awesome. Did the Bears have like the worst one? Bring back the Wiley offensive line series. No, that was a one and done. I actually did more than one video. I did like 8. That was enough left tackle career for me. So the draft presentation still works like this. Slow menus. I know, I dropped the ball with NFL Street 2. I wanted to do it during the summer, and I never got around to it. Let me check these trade downs. Seems like the same type of trade down logic. But man, you got to be careful that you're trading for the right year. Imagine you're trying to move down in the second round and you moved 2 years back just to gain a 5th round pick you can't use for 2 years. Did the trade logic get any better? I think with the slider especially, there's probably some improvement there. Like, there were some things I liked when we were testing some things out, but I didn't really do enough testing to say, like, logic as a whole is better. But there were some instances I was happy with. The draft class settings I haven't messed with. I want to do that after we finish this, so we can maybe soup up a draft class and see what that looks like. So I'm just going to take someone here. So the draft and off-season experience is, you know, Madden 23 basically. I kind of want to take a look at some of the drafting logic and see if teams are taking quarterbacks that shouldn't be. That's been an issue in many games. I don't think the Jets are like too OP now with Cook. I think they're just good. I mean, their receiving core is still like, it's not special. I mean, obviously Garrett Wilson's really good, but the depth behind him isn't like incredible or anything. Like McCole Hardman is like the number 2. And their tight end is Tyler Conklin. They just have a couple good running backs now. And a really good number 1 receiver. We get a late retirement here. You'll notice like a couple players do retire during the actual off season itself. You'll notice it says when they retire. So in this case, TJ Carey retired during draft week. You might get a couple of those that pop up. But not many. I am a Corey Davis guy. I do think he's a bit underrated. I'm also kind of glad they didn't trade him away because I thought they might in the offseason. But, I mean, like, I like Davis more than McCole Hardman. But they're very, like, different receivers and how you deploy them. So it's not really useful to compare. I hope Davis gets a good deal of playing time, though. All right, so let's go to the full draft order. We had the Rams take a quarterback at 1. The Patriots go receiver then. Titans go defensive end, as do the Dolphins. Mainly want to see quarterbacks. The Raiders. Okay, they have Jimmy. So taking a quarterback there made some sense. The Commanders take a quarterback. You can understand that. In the second round, the Vikings do. Now, I don't know if they have Kirk, but a second round quarterback to Minnesota feels pretty good. Those are the only ones to go in the first 2 rounds. So in a lot of drafts, we see like a run on quarterback somewhere in the mid. Didn't see one in the 3rd round. This might also not be a great quarterback class, but not seeing like a pattern here with the quarterbacks like we typically have in the past. When did the first running back go? I'm curious. Late first, and he was an 81. He was the best player in the class. I don't know what his like projection was, but that's a good range, I think, for the first running back to go. Were there no second round running backs? Interesting. So now we're going to move on to week 1, preseason. We want to see if Mingo got replaced on the depth chart. Now, if the depth chart resets at the beginning of preseason, I'm not I'm not having a big problem with that. But we'll run a 2-part test if we have to. Hey, Mingo is still there, and now we're going to go sign a player and make sure it doesn't reset. And we're going to do draft sliders this season. Yep, because I wanted to test out a class that was like just superstar talent all over the place. I could have done more in the draft recap. I meant to. I'm actually going to sign a receiver because I want to sign someone higher than Mingo. Just to see what they do here. I do not have a McNabb jersey. It's a Teddy jersey. Or Teddy shirt. And he is not in the top 6, so you have to manually assign that. It's not messing with it. That looks to be taken care of. What? Teddy can't be wearing number 50. Oh, God. Well, is it like a meaningful number to him? 50 as a quarterback. Okay, he's wearing number 50, but I'm also seeing some stuff that it's not going to be allowed because quarterbacks still have some rules, it looks like. Right now, teams have 90-man rosters, so you can wear anything. Zero to 19 are taken or retired. So, yeah, that makes sense. 50. I'm still mad when Vic Beasley, he kind of washed out because they stuck him with 44. If they had given him a real pass rusher number, I think he would have doubled his sack count in his career. If you ever see me give a pass rusher in any of my series number 44, it means I don't like the guy. I was a big Vic Beasley guy, and his rookie year was awesome. I think he had like 12 or 14 sacks. You could do worse than 44, but Vic Beasley was this awesome, athletic, bendy edge rusher who went in the first round. And to see that 44 drop was like a real punch to the gut. Like a stand-up, athletic, bendy edge rusher cannot be wearing 44. Now, if you got your hand in the dirt, you're 280 pounds, you got some muscle, 44 works. I don't have an issue with Trayvon Walker. But if you're going to be an athletic, stand-up, speed rushing guy, I need you to wear, ideally, an odd number in the 50s. Ideally. 44 is an inside line, backup inside linebacker number. You know, there's a clip you can find of John Madden going through like certain guys fit certain numbers. You know, he's like 88, tall player. That's a tall number. You know, it's a funny clip. It's called John Madden on player jersey numbers. It's like a 2-minute video. It's awesome. He's talking about how like guards and these guys should be wearing like 56. What about Von Miller and 40? I've never been a fan of 40. .40 to me is a fullback. Long snapper. All right, we're going to go into the draft class department. This is not an XP slider. I'm in the wrong spot, right? 40 says hard-hitting strong safety. Yes, it does. 46 is the ugliest number. Next to 47, I think those two are some of the worst. I also don't like the number 78 very much. It can work for like a tackle. 61 is a bad number. 47 if you're like a safety. .77 is the best offensive tackle number. That's a really good one. 37 for a corner is ugly. Yes, I totally agree. I give any receiver that drops a critical pass in a game the number 53. I like it. That's hilarious. All right, y'all. I need to find this setting for the draft sliders. I'm getting distracted. Can't remember where they are. I like the number 29. I think all the 20s are good. And where's the draft class slider? The font style, that honestly is a big factor. Like the number 11 in the Vikings font, Laquan Treadwell wore 11. I never thought it looked good. I think a lot of the Vikings numbers where 1 is the second digit doesn't work great. Draft class strength. It's right there. Sorry, it's a new feature. I'm not used to this one. The Bucks alarm clock numbers. Yeah, nothing looked good on that. Especially if it's any number lower than 60, because then it could actually conceivably like be on an alarm clock. And I can't unsee it. Yeah, the single digit numbers on the Titans, I think in general, their font is too skinny. And like even Derrick Henry's number looks odd. His 22. I don't like the way 22 looks in Titans font. I think there are some fonts that actually can save maybe numbers I don't like very much. I think the Broncos have a decent font. There's nothing special about it. I'm making this like super good on offense and super weak on defense, just to make it really easy to check on things. And really good kickers too, because why not? Jermaine Johnson 11 in the new Jets uniform. Let me see. He had 52, which, you know, looks just fine. Nothing wrong with that. 11. I think it looks okay. But yeah, like 11 for an edge rusher feels like I'm watching college football. Let's do a training camp drill. What team has the best looking font on their jersey numbers? The best? There are a few that I really like, a few that I really don't like. I think the Chargers ones look pretty good. I don't really like, it's not so much the font, but the gradient on the Rams uniforms. Not a huge fan of that. The Jaguars have a good font. It's simple, and I like theirs. You got a lot of teams who are traditional, like the Giants and the Bears and the Packers, and that's just kind of whatever. It's been done for decades, so there's nothing, you know, too much to really say about it. I like the Seahawks a lot. I think the Commanders are okay. Lions are good. I think the Ravens look is dated. And I also think the Eagles are in desperate need of a jersey refresh. That's one of the teams I think needs it most. What time is it, everybody? It's Tua time. There we go. Hit that ring. Ugh. Must have to throw that one, like, right away. I like the slow-mo there. Ah. I think... Can you make a mod on the PC that makes the targets larger so I can actually complete this? You get 50 points for a catch. That's a slap in the face. I hit that one, though. I can do better. Ugh. Yeah, I don't really move around a whole lot for these. Can't even hit a single one right now. I feel like there's not enough routes in this drill. Like back in the old target passing, like you'd be throwing curl routes, you'd be throwing verticals. They'd use like regular routes. All right, this is not Alabama. We cannot actually be running 30-yard dig routes. Oh, yeah. That's drift. That's not a Madden problem. That's my controller. I have had 2 controllers on the PS5 give me problems. And I feel like I'm not even like a power user. Like, I don't play a lot of games competitively. And I use multiple controllers. I usually rotate them in and out. PS4 controller or PS5? Well, I like the feel of the PS5 controller, but I feel like the lifespan is more reliable on the DualShock 4. And I've had my my PS5 controllers have issues with in multiple ways. This one is stick drift. I have another one where the spring on one of the triggers it either came detached or something, because the tension is completely shot on it. And I think I have to try repairing it. I've been wanting to do that. Get that back in commission again. But I have stick drift on this one. This controller is not even a year old. Might even be under warranty. I should look into that. Can you hook up a PS4 controller to a PS5? If you're playing a PS5 game, I don't think so. I think it only works if you're playing a PS4 title. Oh yeah, I hit that ring. Two for one! Yes! I like the PS5 controller, but it just isn't a good feel when you've had 2 controllers with major issues and the console's only a couple of years old. Otherwise, my controllers just last forever, typically. And the battery life is awful, yeah. If you have a PS5, like, unless you like being hooked up, like, I like having my charging dock. So every time I turn off my controller, my games or whatever, I just throw it on the dock. So I always start my day with a fresh controller. They charge fast. That's the nice thing about batteries these days is everything seems to charge pretty quickly. But the PS5 controller, 5 to 8 hours, depending on the game. Have they updated the IR rules to real life? Man, I haven't thought about checking that out. If I have enough injuries to test it out, I will. Can you see if you can edit other players' equipment? It's not letting me. The IR rules that they changed a couple of years ago, where guys can be put on IR and brought back after you can return players from IR an unlimited number of times. Now I'm trying to remember if it's the if it's still 8-week minimum on the IR. The practice squad got boosted. I think it's now like 17 spots, and 5 of those can be veterans. Yeah, if you change the draft class thing to very strong, that's the entire point, is to like create potentially more generational guys. Okay, I see what you're saying here. So I'm on a different team's player here, Hassan Reddick. And I can't edit his equipment. Where is it? Yeah, I did do the restructuring. Bottom of the first tab. Edit appearance. Ooh. This is kind of a new menu. Interesting. I had never even seen this new menu. I don't know if there are new like options, but I'm guessing this is like the same menu that you get in like Superstar mode. It's got kind of that look to it. Oh, so now you can see the cleats this way instead of scrolling through a bunch of text. So that's kind of neat. Not a huge, you know, game changer, but better this than the way it was. Now let me see if I just missed it on the CPU players. Because now it's the edit appearance tab. There's no reason why they wouldn't let you edit the CPU guys. I'm not a big fan of Philadelphia's jersey font. And I think their road uniform is the one I'm really just not a fan of. I like their home uniforms a lot. Not a huge fan of the font. Love the helmet. Don't gotta change that. But where's the edit thing on A.J. Brown? So yeah, that isn't an option here on CPU-controlled teams. Hopefully it's a bug and it's meant to still be available there, but hard to say. Now, we're just going to go into this draft class here and just spoil the ratings because I want to. The offense is meant to be incredible and the defense is meant to be awful. We got an 84 overall receiver, Joseph Williams. 93 speed. 87 catching. 89 catch in traffic. 93 spec catch. Not even that great of a route runner. He's all right. Really high release. Really high jumping. He's no Trayvon Randolph. But he's pretty good. My drift is showing up again. The other thing I wanted to see was more of like the 99 overall players or just the players with really high attributes. I know my camera is going to block some of this on the right side, so I'll try to keep it focused over here. 86 ball carrier vision's the best we're getting. 92 break tackle. 86 truck. 91 stiff arm. What draft class file is this? It's just an auto gen. Got a 99 spec catch here. I've seen that before in the last game. Yeah, you don't tend to see too many high, deep route runnings. A 90 short accuracy here. That's really high. This is interesting. I like when players have really high strengths or higher strengths and lower weaknesses. I think it gives them more personality. 90 short accuracy, 70 medium, 63 deep. That's actually a really interesting build for a quarterback. Pretty extreme. Any quarterback, receiver, tight end? I guess I can look at a few positions and see if any end up with like skills for other spots. We can take a look at that. Did I miss an 88 overall player? I did. The running back. He didn't show. I didn't see him. 88 overall running back, 96 speed, acceleration, 93 agility and change of direction, 92 break tackle. Yeah, that guy is incredible. 92 juke, but can't catch the ball very well. Second round at best. All right, let's go to quarterbacks. And let's see if we can find one that has... I can't sort by catching. I'd have to go to this view here. Come on, Drift. Cooperate here. And then just scroll and look for a quarterback or something. So if I do it, none in the mid 70s, and I don't think you'd find one every year regardless. Yeah, it doesn't appear we have one in this one. You know, maybe there are some corners that could have receiver skills, but corners can have good hands at the same time. If they have good route running, then you're getting somewhere. What's the best catching at corner? Doesn't have the route runnings to pull it off. I don't think 27's going to be doing it either. I'm not sure how common those like multi-positional players are. Receivers with throw power? We can take a look at that. There aren't that many quarterbacks in a class, so that's an easier one to kind of test. Highest non-quarterback throw power is what we're looking for. and it's 38. Going back to the quarterbacks here because I want to look at some of these accuracies. The drift is getting worse. What's up, Kane? Keep up the grind, man. You're the franchise GOAT. I know they're both playoff teams, but I'm dying to see a Hawks or Mariners series. Yeah, you know, that's one city I've just not done anything big with. I did like a rookie rebuild with Seattle, but that's not the same thing. And I like the Seattle teams and everything, so I'm probably overdue for a Seattle journey of some sort. Appreciate the 32nd month of being the member. But yeah, we're here with these quarterbacks because I wanted to see if there were any more skill sets that were like really specific at what they could do. And I'm seeing more balance. Here's an episode without Kane getting picked. No, I threw some picks earlier. I'm sorry. I threw 2 to Bobby Wagner. Appreciate the super chat. Are these classes with sliders turned up or just normal? I made the offense, all the offensive positions extremely good. The highest they can be. And all the defensive positions, the lowest they could be. So Jermaine Moreland here. Wow. He's an interesting player. He's a 64 overall. 90 short accuracy. You can't tell me that that can't work. This is the most intriguing 64 overall quarterback I think I've ever seen generated. And the guy below him? RJ Chambers? 90 throw power, 82 short, 76 medium and deep. Like, that's playable. His throw under pressure is awful. But these accuracies are doable. 82, 76, 74, I can work with that. 95 play action. Yeah, maybe that could do something. These quarterbacks are kind of interesting. Now, I don't know if any of this is a product of my slider thing I was doing. Like, we're still looking at low overalls. But there are some ratings and combinations that I like. One thing I wanted to see here at running back is more guys that can catch, especially the big backs. 63, 64, 60. They're all 220 pounds or more. Good catching, but under 200 pounds. Good catching, under 200. Good catching, under 200. 210. Melvin Shepard, 5'8", 210. Awesome running back build there. Low to the ground. Built. Can catch. 90 speed. I'm a big Melvin Shepard guy. I like this. Receiver. I wanted to see how many guys maybe stand out with like super low catching. Because that's a build I saw a little bit last year. Nobody lower than a 71 in this class, surprisingly. I did soup this class up, though, so I don't know. 99 spec catch. At tight end here. Looking at a really good option here in Diego Fernandez. Good vertical tight end. Oh, yeah, a lot of good tight ends here. Wow. There's so many potential starters in just one draft. O-line. Still didn't end up with too many left guards, but there are like 5 really good ones. That's still pretty deep. Why isn't it sorting by overall? I guess it's sorting by pick number. Interesting. All right, now we go to defense. Oh, that's bad. No one at 70. 170. At D tackle, now we got 3 in the 70s. Wow. So these classes can get pretty weak. Now, here we got the number 4 player in the class, and then no one in the 70s. No one in the 70s. I'm looking for 70 and up. At cornerback, 5. So yeah, it can get pretty weak. We got like a generational safety in this though. I thought, is this not considered generational? Or is he just like really, really good? Because when you go to the lowest setting, you shouldn't be able to get generationals. 94 speed safety with 78 awareness, 82 man, 75 zone. Good tackling. I mean, that's pretty close to a generational. It's a really, really, really good prospect. Don't generational need X Factor? Typically. Let's see if he had X Factor. Star dev on that guy? You gotta be kidding me. Well, I guess he's not generational. He's just really freaking good. Can you imagine drafting that guy and getting star dev? That would be a bad feel right there. I mean, you'd still be just fine, considering like 83 already is an insane starting point, but I'd be salty. Like, you tell me I drafted this rare prospect and I got star dev. If I draft a normal 82, I punch a hole in the wall. That's justified. Now, I also made the kickers really good. Not sure we can tell, though. The kickers kind of stink. The punters. We got an 80 overall punter. 84 overall punter. 99 accuracy. We got a generational punter, I think. Can I get a dev check on that? Superstar! I want an X Factor punter. Kicker just didn't quite work, it seems. This guy's got 99 kick power at punter. I think you're playing the wrong special team. What do I think about dev traits? I don't mind them in general. I think I would handle things a little bit differently. Like, I feel like a player's development early in their career should be a little more variable. And like, maybe you draft a guy who's like, I know that dev traits can move up and down. But when I think about like, how do you replicate like a really good prospect just busting? You know, I'm trying to think of situations where like you draft a superstar quarterback, but you throw a bunch of interceptions. Maybe he gets injured and goes down a level and then ends up with like normal dev and didn't pan out. I think the dev trait system is okay, but it doesn't cover all the bases for me. The Jeff George special. Right? How do we get a Jeff George career in here? Any of these receivers actually like look at like really good running backs? Darren Allen. 86 vision, 76 break tackle, 80 spin, 85 juke. Deebo Samuel is solely responsible for allowing prospects like this to exist. Big Darren Allen guy. This is something, too, I like on the rating ranges here, where it tells you, like, all right, 68. But that's actually, like, average at receiver. Because, 90 is reserved for those big defensive tackles and stuff. What would his overall be at running back? He's already wearing number 23. He might as well just go to running back. $81. That's what I'm talking about right there. Receiver by trucking? That's a running back skill. Ooh, 75? Yeah, I'm afraid of that. I want to see tight end. I want to see tight ends do a better job of being like the George Kittle build where, like, I just want to run people over. I need high break tackle, too. I want to develop just a bowling ball at tight end that just takes people out. The Deebo archetype kind of ruined the drafts. Honestly, I don't like how they like affected the drafts to account for the Deebo skill set, because they went overboard with it in terms of just like the amount of players with that skill set. And I think it screwed over the slot receivers. And the route running archetype. We ended up getting a bunch of these receivers who can't run routes, but they have like 81 juke. And it's like, great. That's not good enough to do enough. And now he sucks at running routes. And there's a bunch of them out there. I haven't seen the Mahomes dive throw, but I haven't played that many games. All right, everybody. I think that's going to wrap it up for me tonight. Another night of experimenting in franchise mode. And now we've gone through a full season and messed around with some things. And, I'd like to maybe stream some head-to-head games just for fun. This is the time of year where I think playing head-to-head is actually really interesting and enjoyable when the game is fresh. I don't know if I'll do another one of these franchise mess-around streams just because I'm not sure exactly what I would do that'd be interesting that I haven't done already. But if you have any feedback, you can let me know. I hope you've enjoyed the streams to this point as we get familiar with this game. A lot of similarities, of course, to last year. It's not a dramatically different game. There are some things I'm liking, some things that I'm not. and we'll see where things go from here. But thanks for watching, everybody. Take care. Please leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.